My name's Diane. The substance that I used to take was drink. I was a very heavy drinker. I lost my family, I pushed them away. I had no house. I ended up living in refuges, just basically nothing in life to live for.
I've been drinking for 34 years. I'm 5 years clean, 5 months clean at the moment. I'm the son of an alcoholic father, a violent one.
My troubles really started before I even touched a drink, really. My behaviours at home weren't the best, and I started thieving and lying, stuff like that. And then always sort of detached myself, ran away at every opportunity.
My name's Debbie and I'm an alcoholic. I've been drinking now for probably about 25 years, and before I came into Deep, my life was total chaos. I didn't want to drink anymore, but I really didn't know how to stop.
I was a chef for 20 odd years, and then every night after work I used to drink just to wind down and relax. Like I say, it gradually caught up with me, and then I became dependent on it basically, and then I lost my job over it.
I've been an heavy drinker all my life, really, pretty much. An alcoholic all my life. Lost marriage, girlfriends, jobs. Pretty much lost everything at some point in my life.
I ended up living in a refuge, and one day I just had enough. It either stop drinking or die. And I took the best way I thought possible for me and to get the people back in my life who I love. It was to stop drinking.
Pretty much given up, to be honest. Well, don't know, 2, maybe 3 bottles of vodka a day, really. Just laying in my bed and drinking, and getting unconscious, and then waking up and drinking again.
It was just hopeless, really, really hopeless. And then in March, 8th of March, I started Deep, and everything's just got a lot better from there.
You've got to be ready to stop. This is the first time I've really applied myself and committed to stopping for the rest of my life. I have liver cirrhosis, and my mum's getting older. I'm putting a lot of pressure on her. So it's just, my children are getting to the stage where they're nearly grown now. So it's just become time to stop. I got myself in a situation where my daughter found me messy, naked and in a horrible state. And I'll burn that image in my mind, and that's somewhere I don't ever want to be again.
Domestic violence was a big issue in my life. That's why I ended up going to the Safe Net Refuge. The man I lived with was awful. He nearly killed me. I don't know how many times. He threatened to kill me. And there was just nothing worth living for. Even the drink wasn't worth living for anymore. But I had to keep thinking at the back of my mind, I've got to do it. I've got to do it for my kids and for myself.
Before I went into Deep, I lapsed again. Basically, I found I was back at work, working as a chef again, and it hurt me back really bad picking up these heavy woks. And I was off for like 5 weeks because of it. And then in that time, my wife lost a baby as well, and everything just all built up all on top of me. And so I went back to her drink again, and then that's when it all stemmed again. So
When I struggled getting out of jail, mental health massively downhill. I wanted to kill myself, I'm not going to lie. I plucked up the courage to ring my family, and they took me back to Harrogate, back to Yorkshire, working hard. I met a lady, Georgina, the love of my life. Fast forward to 2012, we were expecting a baby. Ewan. Ewan Thomas. I hate everything. It's like I've always seen, until Deep anyway, I saw it as a sense of karma for things that I've done in the past through life. Not for Georgina, for me. I hate the way I've put myself in that thought process. But Ewan was born at 21 weeks. He was very poorly. And came out 2.5 pounds. And We got asked, you know, if we wanted to turn the machines off, basically. He was too poorly. He was very poorly. And we went along with Georgina's decision to turn off his machine. Every morsel in me said, no, don't want to do it, but I went with his mum's decision. So we turned off his machines. 2 days old, Ewan passed away. And I've regretted that ever since. When Ewan went, I lost everything. And my actions, I know a lot of my actions. And then I just went downhill. My mental health's gone again. The drinking's come back. I thought I was stronger. Working, drinking, working, and drinking just as hard as working.
When I gave up drinking, I thought it was the drink that was the problem. It was what was inside and what was up here, and Deep helps you to understand that and work through that. And Deep is the best thing that I ever did.
I'd say it was the best gift I ever gave myself. Although on that first day I didn't realise it was. I'd say it's harsh, it's hard, it's emotional, it's painful.
It's probably the best thing you do for yourself ever. No, it's tough emotionally, physically, mentally, but the most uplifting thing you'll do.
I tried to be completely honest about everything, and you know it's group, you know, and there's a lot to be said about working with your peers, you know, and not only taking what they've got to say to you, but giving that feedback in return.
It's really tough. It looks at you and it makes you look at yourself, and it's quite hard to look at yourself how it asks you to look at yourself, and it tells you that some of the things you think that you think wrong, that you're not the person you thought you were. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Like, it's not easy admitting that you weren't a good parent. It's not easy admitting some of the stuff you've done, some of the people you've hurt.
Mentally, I broke it into 3 sections. The first 4 weeks were I resisted and was very stubborn and didn't get too involved. The middle 4 weeks, where you're starting to grow and learn and take in the advice and tools that you're being taught. And the last 4 weeks where you can relax a little more and start to advise the other ones that have started in Deep, you know, and help them more.
How I did describe Deep as it's a very intense emotional program. It gets your inner demons out, basically. All that you got locked away, but you didn't even know that was locked away. It brings everything out in the open, and obviously before that, it gets all your emotion out as well.
The most significant part of Deep for me is when the barrier's brought down, and I know that moment because before that I wouldn't cry. To cry was to be weak. And then when I started to cry, and I knew it were coming out, that was such a relief and so good. And there were things that came out I didn't realise had to come out, and it was amazing.
The most significant part was after the first 4 weeks of resisting, when you start to accept and listen. I'm a stubborn person, and if I'm that way, I'll argue that black's white, and argue just for the sake of winning the point, and that gets you nowhere in Deep. And for the first 4 weeks, that was my attitude. Once you realise that you're there to get better and accept that it's help that you're being given, not criticism, you really start to learn and grow.
After about 6 weeks, I just sort of, something clicked and I got it. And I think I started opening up more and sharing more and not being so protective of myself and not being so controlling of what I was saying. And I just sort of opened up and went through it a little bit, and then it started to get better.
I've struggled a hell of a lot since Ewan died, and I was on Deep at a time when Ewan's birthday and anniversary is in April, and I've struggled ever since with accepting his death. And James took me over for his birthday, and he asked me to write a grief letter, which I went to the cemetery and read at his graveside. I read it in group, and I've believe that I've accepted that he's gone now, you know, and I'm started to grieve properly and sober. And when I read his letter to him at his graveside, like I say, it's been a massive, massive release for me. So that's probably been the moment for me.
They make you dig so deep, you know, right into your soul and bring out all the stuff that you've been pushing down, using the alcohol to push down for years, you know, and things that you know, you probably drank on as well. I know I did. You know, and it's just bringing it all out and addressing it and letting it go.
Most important piece of work. The life story was quite important. I got a lot out in that. But I think the most important thing for me were on the back of that. Did some grief letters. Did one to my mum and one to both my sons. And I had to do them, write them as if I were on my deathbed. And it was what I wanted to write and say to them. And that was tough. And quite upsetting.
I would say that it's got to be a life story. It's the build-up to it. Obviously putting it down in writing. Now, I made a mess of mine. I didn't do a very good one. I didn't reveal too much. But it didn't work. I had to do the last 10 years again. And I applied myself and put everything down in writing, and it's heartbreaking, the effect that you've had on people around you.
They were all important to me, but the most important one was my life story. Yeah, that was a big one. Everybody struggles on it, and it is hard to bring things up, and it does bring things up for you. When you get it all out and other people actually understand, you can start to understand it yourself.
A grief letter to my late husband. I was an alcoholic when he died. I was drinking too much when he died. But then when he died, you know, it just went crazy. Absolutely crazy. And I never grieved. I just drank it away. Writing that letter and getting out the stuff that I'd suppressed again, a weight was lifted off my shoulders after doing that.
You can start to forgive yourself slowly. And the stronger you get, the more you learn to forgive yourself and learn that it's not always your fault. And yeah, it did make me a better person because I learned about myself. Like you said, I forgive myself.
If you go in with your life story and be as honest and get as much out as you possibly can, and then when you sat there in that room reading it to people, opening your soul to people, you know, anything else afterwards, it's easier to do.
I did my life story, then after my life story I was asked to do consequences of the detrimental impact that I caused to my family and my wife and my little girl and my mum, and doing that piece of work on the consequences that basically opened my eyes to the realisation of what I've actually done.
I used to get called aggressive quite a lot. And, you know, because I always used to let things go over my head, just ignore it, and then obviously have my breaking point. But since I've been on deep, I get animated and I frown a lot. And because I'm letting it out, I'm just not letting it out in the right way. So I'm constantly getting called aggressive each week in Pos and Negs. I was, and it used to frustrate me because I'm not meaning to be aggressive with it. So I have been working a lot on not trying to be aggressive. Whether it shows with other people, I don't know.
What I am doing now is just taking on board what's advised to me and going to meetings and keeping recovery as the main aspect of my life now. Where in the past I'd kind of avoid it sometimes, but now I'm just focused on recovery because I'm probably the happiest I've ever been for a long, long time.
When I was drinking, I was what people wanted me to be, not myself. You know, I got married and that was a bad mistake. I got married through drink. My ex-husband was a very heavy drinker. And I sort of moulded into what he wanted me to be. I couldn't be me because in fact, I didn't know me, to tell you the truth. It's been that long that I was me. And I'm liking who I am now. I am. I'm actually getting up and I'm looking in the mirror and going, yeah, you are worth it. And I am. these days, whereas before, no, I didn't. I looked in the mirror, didn't like what I saw, didn't know who I saw.
I used to always be a negative person. I used to always think the worst were going to happen in a situation. And I used to always look back on my past and beat myself up and think, I wish I'd done that, and I wish I'd done that, or I wish I'd done that differently. And I used to beat myself up and use that as an excuse to drink a lot of the time. Or I'd drink and do it while I was drinking and get myself in the right state. And I used to keep stuff to myself and bottle it up and internalise it and beat my own head up with it. Where now I just try and just look at another person's point of view of that situation. And maybe there's a bit, maybe it's me that's at fault.
I think the biggest thing I've stopped doing is isolating. I was an isolated drinker, you know. I'd close the curtains, lock the door, stop answering the phone and disappear for days on end. And letting people down, you know, I'd have started another drinking session and think, well, I obviously can't turn up for that. So I'd be a disappointment, I'd let people down. And I have my self-respect, you know. I try and make an effort every day, keep my home tidy, be honest. Honesty is a big thing for me after Deep, you know, be honest.
It changed my life, basically. The best thing ever. I can't put enough words in how much that has helped me. I wouldn't have been here in 2 months' time. I know myself now, and it's thanks to the people who had faith in me, who trusted me, who saw something in me that nobody else did, that I didn't even.
Well, I've got a busy life. It's only been 5 months and I've got a busy life. I volunteer I've applied to volunteer for transporting medical dogs in my car. Got back to religion, which I'm Christian. Trying to get more involved with that. I'm doing the 12-step programme. I'm involved in a weight loss programme. Just positive things to get myself to the person I used to be.
I want my children around me. I want my grandson with me. I want my house. And this I am knowing how to do now. This is the most important thing I've learnt. Is to do what I want to do. You know, be with people I want to be, not going and borrowing money and stealing money and be a horrible person. I just want to be me. And I wasn't that person. What you see today is what you get. A nice person.
I think basically I've learned most about myself, because all the years I've been in addiction, you lose track of things, and then when you do have complete recovery, you start getting all your feelings back and all your emotions and everything, and you get to learn yourself, who you really are again, and it's a daunting experience, really. So I'm still in that process now, so still full of anxiety and everything now, but I'm dealing with it a lot better and I'm coping with it a lot better now.
After you and there was days, most days, I didn't want to wake up when I went to bed. Didn't mean I'm going to do anything about it necessarily, but I just wish I wouldn't wake up. And I said around the halfway point to me, I'm starting to enjoy getting up in the morning. I want to wake up in the morning. So for me now, I'm enjoying getting up. I want to wake up. I want to start doing things. I want to start taking back a bit of control for myself. No, I am taking control of life.
For me, the most important thing's to leave the past in the past, not keep revisiting it, not keep doing my head in about it. Just not worry so much about things, because I can't change them. Just work on what I can change, which is myself and my thinking.
I'd just say to anybody that is coming on to Deep, you know, I chose to come on to Deep. Some people don't choose to do that. But whatever reasons you find yourself sat in that seat, just embrace it, be honest, do everything that's suggested, because it will save your life. It is the hardest but best experience I've ever had.
I'm really grateful for the experience of I've been given from Acorn and all the recovery people. So I owe a lot of gratitude to a lot of people.
I'd like to thank where it started from, SafeNet, all the lovely, lovely people there for having faith in me.
Gary Benson from Horizon for turning up, picking me up and dropping me off. If it weren't for you, no, I don't know if I'd have done it, to be fair.
I'd like to thank the people at Horizon at Blackpool for believing in me, not giving up on me when I've given up on myself.
I'd like to thank my AA sponsor, Sarah, for all the time and effort that she's put into me.
I'd love to thank everyone at Acorn who've helped me and just led me along the path that I'm in. I'd love to thank James and Marie because they trusted me and they had faith in me.
Well, I'd like to thank Acorn, of course, Acorn and all the Acorn staff. Everybody, has made a difference, but in particular, I'd like to thank James and Marie. There's been occasions where I didn't like you much, but I think you're amazing, and you're amazing what you did to help me to get to the place I am today.
I'd like to thank every single member of staff involved in Acorn, James, Marie, Glyn, you're all lifesavers, Dom for our one-to-one sessions.
I'd like to thank everyone at Acorn for making it possible that I'm sat in this chair.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to all my peers that I did deal with, all the aspects of recovery people, from Certec House to McKee Worker, and all the people in Acorn and the people at Bank Parade.
And all my peers that I came through group with, both in Blackpool and in Burnley, for all being there and helping me through it, and letting me know when I've been a bit of an idiot, and letting me know when I've not been a bit of an idiot. And I just want to say thank you to you all.
Every single peer that I've gone through it with, you've all been brilliant. You're my own little family as well.
I'd like to thank Michael, another of my friends, who dragged me kicking and screaming to my first ramp course. Thanks, Michael.
There's one person I need to thank, and that's my mum. She's not going to be at the graduation because she's away on holiday, but she's never let me down and she supported me through 34 years of drinking, which is amazing, really, and never turned her back on me once. So thanks, Mum.
I'd like to thank my family for being there, believing in me.
My family, putting up with me for all the years. And Auntie Debbie for keeping in contact with me. Just hope you know that I mean it and I'm doing this now, so thank you.
I'd like to thank my children for being there, sticking with me through it. All my friends. Colin for being there all these years. Dave for being there all these years.
A special thanks to my mum for putting up with me. And the main thank you is to my wife, just for being there for me for all the times I've messed up, basically, and she's still, within her heart, accepted me still. So thank you.
But most of all, my wonderful children. Kelly, Rachel, Richard and Anthony. You've always had faith in me. Oh, sorry. I love you and thank you. Thank you.
And my family. I love you all very much, and I hope that my actions will prove that I mean to carry on in the vein that I'm in now.